So good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another edition of Next Gen Warriors on Elevate TV, where we are advancing kingdom lifestyle. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're aware, Next Gen Warriors is a program that is brought to you basically to talk to the young people. Now, the times are tough, and people are going through a lot of things. The lockdown, people are losing loved ones, people are losing jobs. There's a lot of stress and depression that is setting in. With this depression and stress and what have you, the issue of mental health is a big elephant in the room. So it is time that we talk about mental health, and we talk about this issue in details, and we find out the solutions on this matter. I am not an expert on issues mental health, and so with me in studio is a young man who is a researcher, a consultant, is a communication specialist. He works with so many organizations. Currently is at, I need to confirm so that I don't get it wrong, is at Glassdoor. Glassdoor, I think, is a research company. He also works at the American space. His name is Kevin Odhiambo, or rather Kevin Apodo. He's an author of Workplace Chronicles, and he has 4 years experience on matters political and company research. He's the one who is going to take us through this program today. And it's just a conversation. These are things I believe you guys know. So there's no system, there's no method. We just want to have a conversation so that it becomes easier for you to understand. So welcome on set, Kevin.
Thank you.
How have you been?
I'm good.
I mean, we've just been talking on phone. Finally, we meet in studio.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad for the invite.
Yes.
This is a very great platform.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to a lively discussion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell us something about the American space. You know, America, you know, everybody when they hear America and they pass at that embassy, the security around that place, they're like, wow, mtu anaingia hapa ndani. So how did you get inside there? How did you manage as a young man?
I got to know the embassy itself through a friend. This is Gabriel Dinda, the founder and CEO, Writers Guild Kenya. Okay. That is a few years back. So since then, I've been working as a partner with the American space. Okay. It used to be called American Reference Center. Yeah. If you go to the embassy, there is that room. They call it library, but they used to call it American Reference Center. But now the American spaces are just part of just subdivisions of the American Reference Center. Okay. And they are in different towns. Like we have one in Nairobi, Moi University, the Bazaar building on 5th floor. Then we have another one in Lamu, Mombasa, Nakuru, at the NLS,
National Library.
Library Services here. And another one in Kisumu.
Wow.
Yes.
And you've gone to all these places. Anyway, that's story for another day. Yeah, so mental health, Workplace Chronicles. I mean, what made you write a book on matters mental health and Workplace Chronicles?
Workplace Chronicles is actually, that is my first ever book. Okay. This book I wrote last year. Okay. Immediately after the pandemic started. After the pandemic started, our employer removed us from the office and took us to our hotel. So we were there, you know, living, getting everything you want, so long as you work. So I think after some time I fell sick, and then I came out of the hotel because one of the rules were, it's either you get in, you subscribe, but you are never allowed to come out. Okay. Yeah. So when I fell sick, they told me to apply my annual leaves and come back home. So during that time, I used that time because I was on payroll, but I had all the time. So
unalipwa na ufanye kazi.
Nalipwa na sifanye kazi.
Watu wako na bahati, lakini
tuendelee. So that is when I started doing interviews. I went to different people. I had several conversations with them, people employed, you know. And they used to tell me about their problems. But these are problems which I could relate because I've worked with several organizations and people, and these are things I could easily relate. Yeah, so I decided to put them on paper with the knowledge I have on research, with the journalistic knowledge I have. So I said, fine, let me put them on paper.
Just like that.
Just like that.
We had Workplace Chronicles.
Of course.
Mental health. What about mental health? Why are you so passionate about mental health?
I think if you look at some of the programs that I've been doing, I think mostly last year since January at the American space, that is the Nairobi, American space in Nairobi, most of them are on mental health. Why? Because to me, I feel this is another pandemic that we'll have to deal with, or that we ought to have started dealing with even before Corona.
Okay.
You know, so many people, especially the young people, are going through a lot. And I think if you start by mentioning the causes of these problems or the causes of this depression and mental health issues, they are numerous.
Now, before we go to the causes, what is mental health? Because somebody has just tuned in right now.
Yes.
And they're wondering, these people are talking about mental health. Wanaongelea wale watu tunaonanga kwa streets, ama what is this all about? What is mental health in simple definition?
In simple definition, I would say mental health is the psychological well-being of a human being.
Natumia majina kubwa kubwa.
Psychological, I mean.
Psychological done.
Okay. Well-being, you know, just having the peace of mind. Yeah.
Okay. So mental health is about the well-being of the mind. That is what we're saying.
Yes, psychological.
As long as your psychology, your mind, and what have you are in order, then you are healthy mentally.
Yeah.
Oh, so if there's a disorder, then
you are mentally ill.
You are mentally ill.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So what causes mental health illness?
I'd say, because that is part of the content that I have covered in most of my works.
Yes.
It starts with an individual discipline.
Individual discipline.
Individual financial discipline. Because you find right now it's easier for someone to take a loan, not knowing how are they going to pay it back, you know. Even students who don't have even a job, don't have even a source of income, they can easily fuliza, easily take money from
all those sorts of
those sources, you know. But how are you going to pay this?
Yes.
So you'll find that, okay, fuliza can borrow you, can lend you money, right? Mshwari, KCB, M-Pesa, Tala.
There's so many.
There are so many. So cumulatively, you'll find yourself after 6 months or some months, you have a lot of debts, but you don't have a source of income. What starts? Stress.
Stress.
Yeah. So that is the relationship between debts and mental health.
So give us more details. Then stress sets in.
Yes.
What next?
Stress sets in. Now, after stress sets in, you find that now this is where the support system comes in.
Okay.
Who am I going to share with? You know, so many people are afraid of saying that they are in debt, especially men. We find it difficult to admit that indeed we're in debt.
But you see, some would argue, hata Kenya iko na deni.
Hata Kenya iko na deni, but now individually, if you approach me from an individual perspective,
yes,
I won't easily admit that I'm in debt, you know. But now, one thing I would say about that is that most of these people getting into debt have been caused by unemployment.
So there's a connection. We're coming
there is
from
a connection
debt
from debt to unemployment.
Okay.
Now, you know, when people talk about unemployment, they think me going to apply for a job and getting that job, that position, is the only employment that we should look for.
So there are others.
There are others.
Okay.
You know, for example, let me take you back to school.
Yes.
As a student, do something. Even if it doesn't pay you money,
just do something.
Just do something with someone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Do something. It may not pay, but just do something.
Yeah.
You have the passion, employ it. You have the time, employ it. But just do something. Because at the end of the day, as Kevin puts it, the employer will not be looking for what are you promising to do, but he'll be asking you, what have you been doing? You have a free time, do something. You can write. You're an accountant, go and volunteer. You know how to sing, go and volunteer. I know volunteer at times feels like being used, but the experience you get out of volunteering can take you places. And in return, it can help you run away from this issue you're talking about, mental health and stress and what have you. So if you're joining us right now, this is Next Gen Warriors on Elevate TV, where we are advancing kingdom lifestyle, and the program, as is always, comes to you every Saturday. And my name is Colin Sotas, and we are journeying with you on this issue of mental health. Please, there are numbers down on the screens. Get in touch, let's talk. Perhaps you're out there, you're affected on maybe by depression and what have you. Reach out, talk to us. We will help you, we'll pray with you, we will guide you. Also, you can reach us on our social media handles at Elevate TV Kenya on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So coming back to you, Kevin, so we've talked about debt.
Yeah.
We talked about unemployment.
Yeah.
So there was a third factor.
There was a third factor. So
Yes.
this is a lack of support system.
Lack of support system.
Lack of support system is a very broad issue, and not everyone will understand it
Okay.
at the first touch.
Make it as simple as possible so that you
So
understand.
a
at the
support
first touch.
system is maybe someone or something that you do whenever you feel that you're not mentally okay. You know, somebody you talk to. You know, I was raised in the villages, and long time ago, I used to see my older siblings, whenever they had a quarrel with parents at home, they would run, they would escape to maybe an aunt. They are going there to explain to them what has happened. You know, how did the mother or the father wronged them?
Yeah.
You know, so that was their support system. But unfortunately, due to hard times, due to poverty in Africa, we don't have the number one support system.
That question.
What will a man think of?
Yes.
An opportunity to exploit. And by there, I'm not attacking men. I'm talking from an experience. I've seen it happen to someone. And unfortunately, they focused on the older generation, the elderly support system. I don't know if, I don't know the kind of family that you are raised in, but there are these families that, okay, the parents are always with the children. They are going to church, they're with their children. The children are going back to school, they are with their parents. The children are going for a shopping, they're with the parents, you know. So they don't have that time to go outside there and interact with illicit people, illicit friendships.
What is illicit friendship?
Illicit friendships are wrong friendships.
Wrong friends. Okay.
Yeah, wrong friends, wrong people. People who don't advise you well. So when you are raised in such a family, you don't have time for peer pressure, because basically the person or the people you spend most of your time with are your parents.
Kevin,
Yes.
I know some young man or young ladies watching us right now.
Yes.
And they're like, my parents are so strict. I feel like they're stressing me. So how do I deal with it? Is it not that I need to talk to my peers to get how they navigate these murky waters of parental, quote unquote, maximum security prisons?
I understand.
Yes.
But now, you see, for people who say their parents are so strict, I think their parents are not stricter than my dad. The way that guy was when we were coming up.
Yes.
So one thing is that when your parents are strict, of course there are still other places where you make friendships, in school and in churches, you know. If you can't spend time, you find your parents so strict, try spending your time with your siblings. They are also another support system. Try and spending time with that good neighbor, you know, with that good those good peers in the church and in school. Yeah.
Wow. So you don't have to look far. There's a brother in the house, you have a sister in the house, they can always help out. There is a neighbor just next door, you can always help out. But let us avoid peer pressure, especially when you're saying we're stressed. Because the things that they will advise in most cases may mislead us. And this is why you find yourself doing drugs, doing alcohols, thinking that you're curing stress and that depression. But in reality, you're just postponing the problem. So what we are saying on this show is that the support system starts from the family, then the church. There are no other better support system than the two that we have mentioned. So at this juncture, I want us to take a short break and allow us to take some glass of water.